That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, I think finally we have a piece of bumper music that might fit the story.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, we had this music one day as a lady talking about tulips, and it just didn't work. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And then I found the tulip guy, and he was talking about the Air Force. It didn't make sense, Robert.
Yeah, right.
This one sort of makes sense. Except maybe we should have a little bit of like an Asian sound to the music.
Oh,
right?
there you go.
Frank Heller is a Vietnam War veteran. So thank you for your service, Frank. He's listening in right now. I'm going to put him up in a second. You'll be able to hear him, and will hear us. Frank is a hospital corpsman in the United States Navy, or he was anyway during the Vietnam War. He is a biographer, a researcher. He witnessed the first demonstrations in Tiananmen Square. He published biographical and exhibition catalogs on American and European artists, some of which are housed in the Smithsonian Institution libraries. His book is called The Secret Empress. It is a novel. It's a thriller novel, but it's actually based on his real observations and a massive amount of work in China, correct?
Yes.
All right, Frank Heller, it's an honor to have you on the show. Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And where are you? Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Beverly Hills, California.
All right.
Beautiful downtown Beverly Hills.
How's the weather in Beverly Hills today?
Actually, it's gorgeous. It's going to be about 83.
Oh, nice. Not bad.
How about you guys?
It's kind of nice here. Not beautiful. I shouldn't say kind of nice. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's about 90 out there right now.
It's just a little hot, that's all. But I'm inside, so it's okay. So tell me about your work in China and how it led to this book.
It's kind of interesting, oddly enough. I've been through a number of incarnations in my last 74 years. And about 40 years ago, I went to work for my father-in-law, who was in the import business, manufacturing builders and cabinet hardware. And one of the things that we used to do is go to the Canton Fair in Canton, China.
Okay.
That's a fair that exhibits everything that is manufactured, grown, harvested, pulled out of the ground, or assembled in China from every province. It's a fantastic exhibition. And we began manufacturing cabinet hinges there. 35 years ago, the factories would call us and say, I'm sorry, we can't ship on time. We ran out of our allotment of electricity. Or they would call and say the electrical wires and the telephone lines have been torn out and the copper sold on the black market.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Now, compare that to today, where China, Beijing has instituted a free economic zone along the eastern seaboard, which allows for private enterprise, private ownership, and private wealth. And there has been a huge boom in capitalism along that eastern seaboard. Now you don't get that. What you get are price increases. You get delays because the factory has found another customer who paid a higher price than you pay. So it's very interesting to see that sea change over the last 35 years.
Oh, wow. And is that politically rooted? Is it rooted in politics?
You're talking about the economic change?
Yeah. Did all that happen because of the politics of China?
A combination of politics and reality. In order to develop their economy the way that they envisioned it, they had to allow for capitalism.
Oh, okay.
That's what drives any economy.
Okay.
And they realized that. So they allowed for that development, but they also try and keep a hand in as they try to control the economic growth. So when an American company would go to China and say, we want to create a factory here, they could own 49% of it. But a Chinese entity, whether it was an individual or an arm of the central government, owned the other 51%.
Oh, okay.
Part of the problem that we ran into is that giving up the technology that made that manufacturing possible gave them a decided advantage later on, which is what they were looking for. And that's something that American technology companies have to be aware of now.
Is the book, in addition to being a story, is it a message?
It wasn't intended to be a message. It was intended to be entertaining because I spent a lot of time on airplanes and going through books, either flying out or flying back. It was intended to be a quick read. It's only 225 pages. Mm-hmm. So it was intended to be enjoyable, intriguing, thrilling, and kind of a travel log because it takes the reader from Hong Kong to Canton, Guangzhou, through Beijing, the Forbidden City, the Great Wall, to Western China, to a city called Yinchuan, which is the furthest Western city in China. I'm sorry.
I love your dialogue in there. I mean, you do have humor in your book, plus historical for some of the things. Like I learned what the Son of Heaven was. That was pretty interesting.
That was fascinating. It was interesting to learn that myself. I learned a lot doing the research for the book. One of the most... Robin, you're a photographer.
Yes.
So imagine walking into the Forbidden City, to the Hall of Harmony, and seeing the Dragon Throne for the first time. This was the imperial seat of power for 600 years for the Qing dynasty. This is a chair that is intricately carved, inlaid with gold and silver, sitting on a dais that's 6 to 8 feet above the floor, in a hall that is massively carved ceilings and beams. It is the most immense impact that you can possibly imagine. Imagine that in your photograph.
That is outstanding.
Wow,
That would absolutely be outstanding.
It creates a real visual. So we meet in the book. We meet Joe Wilder, and we learn about his efforts to run a business and work with China. And his son Charlie becomes somebody we're a little bit scared for. Mm-hmm. So, are they based on you, or is that completely out of your imagination?
No, Joe is based on a couple of friends. You have to remember, Joe Wilder began his career as a competitive bodybuilder and was a champion bodybuilder with titles up the kazoo. He was also a secret field agent for the CIA. He has a very bad experience in Paris late in his career as a field agent and retires from the CIA, begins his business, which he turns into a massively successful health and fitness conglomerate. It is when he is hit with a 30% price increase and forced to come to the trade fair at Canton to renegotiate his contracts that he falls into this situation where he becomes the guardian for Charlie at the request of the Deputy Minister of Trade for Guangdong Province.
And you have, I love how some of the characters that he meets are people that have known him in the past, like the person that he was talking to at the Children's Hospital.
I'm sorry, say again?
I like how some of the characters in the book are people that he's known before in his past, and that he ran into, gosh, I can't remember her name, but at the Children's Hospital.
Yeah, this is a character who knew him, but he couldn't place her. Mm-hmm. So when you're traveling internationally on that long flight from LA to Hong Kong, and you're a single man and a beautiful woman sits down next to you and plays Who Do You Know, Who Do We Know in Common, being a little bit concerned, he's there at a forced price increase, so he's worried about competitors getting wind of what his problems are. He begins to question why she's contacting him all of a sudden. Okay. And that's just kind of a red herring in the storyline. But it's fun.
It is fun.
The storyline is in the book called The Secret Empress. It is written by Frank R. Heller, and we're sort of kind of a little bit all over the map because I think we're intrigued by your history. I think a lot of what you've done is part of the reason we're asking some of the questions we're asking, and I want to make sure we're fair to the book as well, because obviously the listeners want to know whether they should buy the book or not.
Oh, absolutely, they should buy the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. By the way, I'm doing, in case you want to come out to Los Angeles, there's a weekend coming up. You could have a long weekend. I'm doing my first book signing at Barnes and Noble at the Grove Monday evening. And if you know Los Angeles, Barnes and Noble at the Grove is their flagship store in L.A.
Oh, okay.
So come on out.
All right.
7 p.m.
You never know. We might have some listeners. Hopefully one of them will tell you they heard you on either the broadcast or on the YouTube podcast that we're doing at the same time. So tell me about the setting for the story. Does it help the reader, even though it's a story, even though it's entertaining? Does it help us understand some of the things we've read about, for example, eavesdropping on technology and that kind of thing?
I think it does. Robin, you read the intro into Hong Kong and how Joe checks into the Peninsula Hotel and doesn't realize that there is a group that is going to surveil him. They're going to put listening devices in his room. He doesn't realize that going in. But that's kind of a small allusion to what is going on in China now. The odd thing is that technology, to be able to do facial recognition, to be able to listen into our cell phone conversations, that's technology that was invented here in the United States. Our tech companies handed that to China in order to be able to manufacture there. It's very short-sighted.
Sure, mm-hmm. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. But here's the question I always have about when I hear things like that, and I assume that we do similar things here. Is it not a big issue as long as we're there for the reasons we say we're there? Like, if I'm not spying on anybody, they're going to look at me and say, oh, never mind him. He's got nothing. He's just here to get the food or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think from the standpoint of the individual American who is traveling to China to visit the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, I don't think they have anything to worry about. I think what is more concerning are the people in industry, the people who have secrets that are proprietary for their technology, their rights in their development for the products that they're creating. Mm-hmm. That's what is of concern. And I think that's one of the things that we need to negotiate very quickly here.
And over the years, since you were in the import business, what about the current situation now about the tariffs?
Well, it hurts my company. Atlantic Pacific Industries is a builders and cabinet hardware company, and we import a tremendous amount of product from mainland China. So that hurts us. It puts a dent in our profit margins on our cabinet hinges and cabinet knobs. But I think it's something that has to be done in order to create a level playing field for American companies.
You talked about your granddaughter. She was the catalyst for you.
Well, let me give you a little bit of the history, the genesis of The Secret Empress. I wrote it originally as a 5-page treatment for a movie, sold it to a movie company. They promptly did absolutely nothing with it. After 2 years, the rights came back to me, and I put it away for 18 years.
Oh, man. Holy cow. Wow. Don't you hate
don't you love sitting on the shelf for 18 years?
Oh, I hate that. I hate the fact that they even made you wait 2 years.
I pulled it out 4.5 years ago, and I turned the 5 pages into a 65-page short story. I gave it to a literary agent here in town by the name of Mike Hamelberg. Great guy, second-generation agency. And he loved it and said, okay, now write the novel. Now, I have 4 granddaughters. My wife and I take care of our granddaughters twice a week. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Susan cooks dinner for 10 because the kids come to pick up their children and stay for dinner, and then go home.
Yeah.
Of course. They got you
So-
trained.
Every time you sit down to the computer, if you have a lovely little girl come climb up on your lap and say, "Poppy, can we look at pictures on the computer?" It cuts into your writing time.
Yeah, I bet it does.
It took me 4.5 years to finish the novel.
Oh,
In that time, unfortunately, Mike Hammelberg passed away.
oh,
So I was without an agent, which in that time kind of diminished my desire to really push forward and finish the novel. My oldest granddaughter, her name is Gemma. She just turned 10 in June. I picked her up from an appointment, and that 65-page short story was sitting on the car seat. She said, "Poppy, can I read it?" Now, she goes through books like a hot knife through butter. She read it on the way home. Every time I picked her up at school after that, "Poppy, how's the Empress coming? Did you finish it yet? How close are you?" So there was no way that I could get lazy and not finish the novel, because
Right.
how can I say to Gemma, sorry, I just blew it.
So how are you doing the sequel for it? I had somewhere in my notes it mentioned that there was a sequel in the works.
There is. It should be ready for publication next year. Oddly enough, I'm working on two novels simultaneously right now. But the sequel to The Empress is called The Dragon's Claw, and it should be out for the holiday season next year.
oh, nice.
Were you influenced culturally? I guess is the way to ask this. From all your time in China, do you? I don't know. Do you eat more Chinese food than I might, or are the decorations in your home reflecting the experiences you had in China, etc.?
If you notice the cover of the book,
Yeah, I
it
noticed.
is imperial red and imperial yellow. These are colors that my wife absolutely adores. So our dining room reflects that color scheme.
Oh wow, really? Kind of
But
nice.
to get more specific, to answer your question, I was always fascinated by the history of China. One of the references in the novel goes back to the Opium Wars. I blame the British Empire for the start of the illicit drug trade in Asia. Because in 1840, Great Britain was importing tea from China, as well as flatware and dishes of all kinds. They call it Chinese exportware. They were paying in silver, sterling silver, and Great Britain didn't want to give up all of that silver, so they said to China, "We have this cash crop that is coming out of our colonies called opium. Let us pay for the tea with opium, or at least partially with opium." Mm-hmm. And the Chinese emperor said, "No, absolutely no way." About 2 years after that demand, they started smuggling opium into China. The Chinese government found that they were getting opium dens, they were getting addictions, they were getting all kinds of problems resulting from that smuggling. So they cracked down on Great Britain. Great Britain went to war and won. After that, opium was legally imported into China.
Did they win in part because of the addictions?
No, they won because they were superior to China militarily. And the Second Opium War, which was 1860, it was after that Opium War that they gained the colony of Hong Kong and ultimately the new territories.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How were you and your colleagues treated when you were in the Navy around the Vietnam War when you went to Hong Kong?
Fabulously. My first trip to Hong Kong was in 1964. You mentioned that I was a hospital corpsman. I was very fortunate during the Vietnam War because I was stationed on board an aircraft carrier, whereas a lot of my friends out of the hospital corps school went with the Marines, and they were in country in direct combat. So we arrived in Hong Kong the morning of Christmas Eve, 1964. 4,000 men off the carrier, divided into 3 sections for liberty. 2/3 of us went on the beach, and we had a fabulous time. The people in Hong Kong were incredibly welcoming, not only for the U.S. dollar, but strictly because we were Americans, and we were very much welcomed and treated beautifully. But one of the things that I saw on that first trip was the tremendous disparity between the wealthy and the horribly poor. The shanties that were on the hillsides in the New Territory were horribly depressing. 750,000 people living in shanties made from garbage. And ultimately, and I refer to this in The Secret Empress, there were huge monsoon storms that washed those shanties off of the New Territory hillsides.
Wow, that's
and
horrible.
150,000 people were suddenly homeless.
Is it better today?
Oh, it's much better. My God, the New Territories. Again, Robin, if you take a camera and go to Hong Kong, visit the New Territories, you will see planned communities with apartment buildings 120, 130 stories tall.
Wow.
Phenomenally manicured parks and gardens and playgrounds and schools. It is incredibly beautiful. I take it you've never been to Hong Kong.
No, never have. I've been kind of leery about that.
But wait a minute, we've been to Epcot. Does that help?
It's not quite the same, but there is a Disney World in Hong Kong.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's a China in Epcot. I think.
It doesn't surprise me in the least.
I think there is. The book is called The Secret Empress. I think we are fascinated with China. I think just listening to you, we're all kind of just listening as closely as we can to try to get a sense of what you've experienced a little bit. I think the book will help with that, too, if you have any intrigue. I actually have a copy of The Secret Empress, so if I have a listener who would like the one that was sent to me, just call right now, 622-9622, and I'll put your name on it. Just pick somebody at random, and you can come pick it up. I did find it on Amazon, so the rest of us can go buy it. Frank?
They can order it at Barnes & Noble. They can order it online through a number of different book outlets, also through iUniverse. And I think they should get it. I think everyone should get a copy of The Secret Empress.
Are you a bodybuilder? Are you like your main character, or no?
No, I'm too lazy for that.
You're a great grandpa, though, and a great dad. You're amazing.
So it makes for a good movie.
Thank you.
It makes for a good movie visual, though, right? A bodybuilder.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, it's fun and fascinating to listen to you. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
In the good old summertime, it takes you back, doesn't it? Makes you think and remember? What did you do in the summertime when you were a kid? At Palm Garden of Ocala, we see folks who are young at heart, but their bodies are giving them a tough time. Our goal for every guest we serve is to bring them to their highest level of independence. Come visit us soon. We're located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street. And when you're in the hospital, ask for Palm Garden by name.
Visit Southeastern Trailers today. We have new and used enclosed cargo and open utility trailers, along with built-to-order trailers. We service all brands of cargo and utility trailers, installation of hitches, wiring and electric brake controls, and installation of trailer accessories, with locations in Ocala and Ormond Beach to serve all of Central Florida. Call 1-888-622-1816. Again, that's 1-888-622-1816.
It's time for the 37th annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo. Thursday, August 29th. Don't miss Bullfighters Only, the baddest animals on the planet. Rodeo action Friday and Saturday, August 30th and 31st, 7:30 nightly at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. For information, check out OcalaShrineRodeo.com. OcalaShrineRodeo.com. Bullfighters only in the Ocala Shrine Rodeo. Don't miss it.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu.
I would like to see a large cut.
President Trump keeping up pressure on the Fed as it kicks off a two-day policy meeting. The president speaking outside the White House on his way to Virginia, also saying he's disappointed the Fed put him at a disadvantage by not acting sooner. The New York Attorney General says her office will begin an immediate investigation into Capital One Bank's massive data breach affecting about 100 million people, and a warning about another vulnerability to hacking small planes.
The Homeland Security Department is warning small plane owners to be vigilant and restrict unauthorized access until safeguards can be developed to address the problem. The issue was discovered by a cybersecurity company in Boston, which alerted the federal government. Homeland Security decided to issue the alert after independently confirming the security flaw, which could threaten engine readings and other data.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. This is Fox News.
Ever wanted to speak another language? Babbel can get you confidently speaking Spanish, French, or German within weeks.
I just started learning Spanish with Babbel, and it's really helping my pronunciation.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Haha, I got it! I wish I had tried Babbel sooner.
See why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com to try for free.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14, 41, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. I realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Visit Southeastern Trailers today. We have new and used enclosed cargo and open utility trailers, along with built-to-order trailers. We service all brands of cargo and utility trailers, installation of hitches, wiring and electric brake controls, and installation of trailer accessories, with locations in Ocala and Ormond Beach to serve all of Central Florida. Call 1-888-622-1816. Again, that's 1-888-622-1816.
No doubt about it, folks. It's a fact that right now, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala has the best selection of citrus trees they've ever had. What's more, here's the deal. It's just too good to miss. Get one of your favorite citrus trees like tangerine, tangelo, grapefruit, lemon, lime, kumquat, and many others at Bob's super low price. Then you get a second one just like it for half price. Folks, these are quality trees with many bearing fruit right now. And while you're there, check out the closeout prices on crepe myrtles with many colors starting at a super low $2.99. Plenty of BOGOs on gardenias, agapantha, jasmine, and many more at Bob Wines. So don't you miss out. Check the ad, then get to BobWinesCameliaGardens.net, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, Monday through Friday till 4, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Here are today's headlines from The Source. WOCA, The Villages will be getting a high-profile visitor. President Trump is planning to stop at the Sumter County Retirement Community 1 week from today. Trump is expected to discuss Medicare, but no details have been released. They won't be ready in time for school starting next month, but officials are gathering in South Florida to begin coming up with national standards to make classrooms safer.
Federal officials plan to launch a school safety clearinghouse in November, offering best practices to benefit all schools. Parkland parent and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission member Max Schachter says the first meeting is today.
We're inviting over 36 different stakeholders from all different aspects, mental health, law enforcement, superintendents.
He stressed says it's important that all experts in the different fields agree, with the hope that the best practices are uploaded to a federal website for implementation nationwide. Erica Rodriguez, Miami.
Another tragic story of a child dying after being left in a hot van in South Florida. Noah Sneed was only 2 years old. The Broward County Sheriff's Office says Noah was found in a van parked in the driveway of a daycare and preschool in Oakland Park. 5 whales that stranded themselves on a Tampa Bay area beach are getting help from marine biologists. 3 will be taken out into deep water and released, and 2 others will get a stop at a Tarpon Springs facility run by Clearwater Marine Aquarium. NOAA marine mammal specialist Jessica Powell says the short-fin pilot whales weigh almost a ton each.
4 of the animals that we have stranded are between 13 and 14 feet. We think those animals are adults. We also have 1 smaller animal that's about 10 feet long, and we think that animal is a subadult or a juvenile.
The whales were discovered early yesterday morning on Reddington Beach. Forecasters are expecting no significant development as the tropical wave over the eastern Caribbean Sea moves in the direction of Florida and the Bahamas over the next several days. A man is dead after a paragliding accident yesterday morning in Lake County. The man was piloting an ultralight-powered glider when it suddenly spun out of control and crashed into Lake Beauclair in Tavares.
It's a single-passenger sit-in. Almost, you've seen them with go-karts. My understanding was this was a 3-wheeled aircraft.
Sheriff Sergeant Fred Jones says a parachute was deployed, but it was too late. The man's body was pulled from the lake. He is described as in his 50s and from out of state, and was paragliding with 2 other men who landed safely at a nearby golf course. The men took off from the Apopka airport. A homeless Ocala man challenged several ordinance violations with the help of attorneys with the ACLU in court yesterday and successfully convinced the judges to reduce his fines and court fees. The homeless man is identified as Anthony Cummings. The report states that Cummings admitted to violating Ocala's open lodging ordinance once in 2012 and twice in 2016. The ordinance states that a person cannot lodge or take temporary shelter on private or public property without permission. Cummings received help from the Southern Legal Counsel when he went to them for help getting his driver's license reinstated. Attorney Chelsea Dunn told reporters that 3 judges found the city of Ocala had not adopted by reference the state misdemeanor of trespass and ruled in Cummings' favor. Florida's Attorney General asked the state Supreme Court to disqualify a proposed ballot measure seeking to ban assault weapons, saying the measure goes too far in outlawing the possession of all semi-automatic long guns, beleaguered by a spate of high-profile gun-related violence, including last year's Parkland school shootings that killed 13 students and 4 adults. Backers of the proposed constitutional amendment say they have collected more than 100,000 of the 766,200 signatures needed to qualify for the 2020 ballot. Attorney General Ashley Moody is attempting to derail the effort by asking the state's high court to rule that the proposal is misleading because it does not adequately spell out the ramifications that the measure would have on gun ownership. The measure's 6-word title and 5-sentence summary fail to disclose the true nature of the measure, she claimed. She also said it would effectively outlaw the possession of virtually every semi-automatic long-barreled firearm, including shotguns and rifles, a point disputed by advocates of the ballot measure. We could soon learn more about Universal Orlando's future plans. The theme park announced on Friday that it will be sharing major news at an invitation-only news conference on August 1st. Although details of what will be shared at the news conference were not revealed, it is likely the announcement will be about Universal's expansion plans. During an earnings call last year, Universal executives confirmed that the company was looking to add another gate, also known as a theme park, in Florida. Universal has 541 acres of undeveloped land just off Universal Boulevard near the Orange County Convention Center, where Thursday's announcement will take place. Permits filed with the state of Florida hint that the land could be used for the new theme park. The resort recently opened Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure at Universal's Islands of Adventure, and according to a recent earnings report, Universal theme parks have been thriving with revenue up 7.5%. More than 4.3 million passengers went through Orlando International Airport in May, launching what is shaping up to be a record-breaking summer for Florida's busiest airport. Airport officials said yesterday that passenger traffic at the airport increased 8% in May from the previous year. The airport had 3.7 million domestic travelers and almost 615,000 international passengers in May. The number of international passengers increased by 15% from the previous year. Airport officials in part credit the growth to an increase in the number of available seats on flights out of Orlando compared to last year. And Mary Sardinas had prepared a room in her Miami house for the arrival of her son from Cuba. He had sold his home and left his job thinking he would soon be living in the United States. That was 2 years ago, and he is still in Cuba. Sardinas is among thousands of Cubans living in the United States whose hopes of reuniting with family members have been put on hold since September 2017, when the Trump administration pulled most of its embassy staff out of Cuba in response to a mysterious illness that struck at least 24 diplomats or their relatives. Sardinas says her 41-year-old son, Jorge Luis Carrera Sardinas, had passed his final interview for the permit and was just waiting to go to the embassy to receive it. For most of the decades after the 1959 revolution led by Fidel Castro, Cubans fleeing the communist-governed island enjoyed unique immigration privileges, including an almost certain path to legal residence once they touched U.S. territory. But the outgoing administration of President Obama canceled that policy in January 2017, and the Trump administration's consular shut down later that year, meaning that the legal migration has been severely restricted. And Disney World has revealed the first set of celebrity narrators who will appear at this year's Candlelight Processional at Epcot. Whoopi Goldberg, Pat Sajak, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and Edward James Olmos are set to read the Christmas story in December. Disney has said more narrators will be announced at a later date. In addition to the narrators, the Candlelight Processional features a mass choir and a live orchestra. The processional is performed 3 times each night, 5 p.m., 6:45 p.m., and 8:15 p.m. at the America Gardens Theater. The Candlelight Processional runs November 29th through December 30th. And those are the headlines from the source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Partly sunny for today. There will be a shower or thunderstorm around, and at least across inland areas, that will be most likely during the afternoon. High today within a couple of degrees of 90. Partly cloudy tonight, low 73 to 78. Some sun followed by clouds for tomorrow. A shower or thunderstorm around in the afternoon. High 89 to 91. And then for Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. Still the risk for a thunderstorm. Highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson.
An easy-to-grow, exotic, and flavorful cabbage. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Welcome to the All In for Citrus podcast. There's a new resource available that brings all of Florida's citrus research together, delivering it right to you on your computer, phone, or tablet. Introducing the All In for Citrus podcast from UF IFAS in partnership with Southeast AgNet. The monthly series spans the Sunshine State with research project updates from the UF IFAS statewide citrus team. Listen to the latest episode by searching All In for Citrus on iTunes, your favorite podcasting application, or at citrusindustry.net.
Chinese cabbage, also called Napa cabbage, offers a sweeter flavor than traditional cabbage varieties. And this Asian variety is just as easy to grow in a home garden. It's more exotic and flavorful. Napa cabbage plants have large, oblong-shaped leaves that tightly wrap themselves around the plant's head. The stalks are usually white with pale green leaves stemming out, and the flowers are yellow. Some cabbage plants have loose heads, while others are wound more tightly. However, they all tend to grow around 15 to 18 inches tall. There are many varieties to choose from, but the best types of Chinese cabbage include Chinese Express. This late season variety has glossy leaves and it's resistant to disease. Or Blues F1, an early season variety that's perfect for planting in the spring. It has blue-green leaves and is resistant to disease as well as bolting. This variety also takes about 57 days to grow. And Monument, a mid-season variety that's tall with a narrow head. It takes about 80 days to grow, which is the most extended amount of time, but this variety resists bolting. When you plant your Chinese cabbage, it will depend on what type you choose to grow. Most plants do well if you sow the seeds during the spring while the soil remains cool. To harvest in the fall, you would plant another crop during late summer. This type of cabbage is a biennial, which means it can grow during the colder winter months with the right cover. It tolerates a little frost, but too much is detrimental to the plant's health. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Medical providers are special, and to look special, they go to Scrub Paradise in Ocala. Located off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival, Scrub Paradise has a wide selection of top brand scrubs, medical shoes, and accessories. Embroidery is also available. Don't settle for the same boring scrubs. Visit Scrub Paradise today or call 352-873-4368. Your favorite brands are on sale. 352-873-4368. That number again is 352. OCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Midday with Joe.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Giuseppe is the drummer. Today on Midday with Joe, Joe gets his just desserts from
Nice.
Cannolis!
Just Desserts.
Cannolis!
Alright. Hey, Joe. Have you ever wondered why we have a spoon and a fork above the dessert plate? Have you ever wondered that?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have the answer for you. Have you ever
I
wondered?
thought the answer was chicken.
Have you ever
Should you
wondered
eat chicken with your fingers? No, your fingers should be eaten
why
separately.
it's called dessert? Because in early colonial days, people would desert the table after the main meal was done, and they said we need to sit around longer. So they came up with something nice and sweet and a reason for people to stick around, and they called it the dessert and added an S to it. Did you know that?
Now I do.
All right, now here's the thing about the fork and the spoon, and then we're going to get to the desserts at Disney. You slide the fork with your left hand and the spoon with the right hand to the side of the dessert plate. The fork to the left, the spoon to the right. You may use both or only one of the utensils for the dessert depending on the ingredients. Sometimes you may even need a knife. So hold your spoon to cut into the dessert with the fork. Place your fork on the edge of the plate and then use your spoon to eat the dessert.
What if you're right-handed?
Yummy. I've
Holy
never heard
cow.
that.
You're right-handed, though.
Wow.
The fork would go in your right hand and the spoon would go in your left hand.
Who ever heard of that etiquette?
That etiquette. You know what I do? I make sure I don't miss my mouth. That's it. Heck with that
Good
noise.
morning.
But here's the most important part. The dessert was created to bring more conversation
to the table.
Yes, you'd stick around and talk.
Well, you know what you have to do first?
What do you have to do?
You want to eat at my table? Put your damn cell phones in the kitchen and shut them off.
Yeah.
There you go.
I cannot stand that. It drives me up a damn wall.
Hold on a second.
Sit there and they're going, shut up. I'm going to hit
Hang
you.
on.
Get that, get that dang phone.
All right. So,
But I cannot stand. Oh, I got to take a picture of my meal. Now I got to send it to Susan, and then to Mary, and then to Joyce, and then to April, and then to the. Okay, then they put
All
the phone
women,
down.
he's saying.
And
Those
then
are all
they put
women's
the,
names.
Yeah, all the names. Then they put the phone down.
All ladies, yeah.
And they go to eat it, and it's cold. Well, damn it, you took 10 minutes taking pictures of it. Of course the food is cold.
That's right, exactly.
And then they got the nerve to call the waiter or waitress and say, my food is cold. And then the waitress shows them the slip of paper and says, you got this 10 minutes ago. It's not my fault you sat there and took pictures and talked on the phone for 10 minutes.
Good for the waitress. I love that.
Yeah, and then what happens? She gets in trouble for saying that to her. But I'm with the waitress 100%. You're going to sit there and fiddle with your phone rather than eat your food. It's your fault. You want to take a picture? Then send it when you're done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Joe.
Yes.
I know that you're a good photographer.
I'm pretty good, yeah.
And I know that you're in Disney a lot.
Oh, I'm in Disney a lot.
And so I know you also can have an opinion about things that you're interested in.
Disney is very, I'm interested in the food.
Now, okay, perfect. There is an opportunity for you to do, if you just write a book.
I can do that.
It doesn't even have to be a big book, just a book. Because this book has sold 650,000 copies
of...
It is called 16 Tasty Desserts You Never Knew You Needed to Eat at Walt Disney World.
Just 16?
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So the book is about...
there's a lot more than 16 desserts there at Disney World. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, but this... Adam Bryan wrote it.
Good for you, Adam.
650,000. Robin, what do you think is the profit per book?
Well, it's probably $1.
That's it. I'll go for it.
$650,000. Whoa.
I can pay off my mortgage.
He took pictures of desserts and he decided these were the 16 you have to have.
All right.
So I'm going to just use it
but
as
those are his opinions.
Who cares?
Yeah, but people bought it.
Who cares?
I'm giving you an idea here.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
I don't know. You could do the
How much did it cost him to eat those 16 pastries?
Not $650,000.
That's right. $20 a piece, let's say.
So they made a big profit.
I don't know.
Well, they do have cannolis on there. They better have cannoli on there.
I don't know if they do or not. I haven't looked for it yet.
They better have a what's that? Robin, an Italian cake. Starts with the T.
Tiramisu.
That's it. Tiramisu.
Right.
Good job, Larry.
Very good, Larry.
Here are the most popular.
Very good, Larry.
Here are the most popular ones.
Larry did
I
very
know
good.
I'm never going to hear it again. Here we go.
I want to say it twice. You feel good.
Here are the most popular desserts
One out
at
of two is
Disney.
not bad.
And then I'll give you the 16. Ready?
Sure.
Ohana bread pudding.
Ohana.
Mickey premium ice cream bars. Dole Whip. Norwegian school bread.
Okay. Well, we're going to stop at any of them?
And Kringle. No. These are the most popular ones. Then I'm going to tell you the ones you must have. Okay.
All right. Those are popular. Okay. We'll go with the Dole Whip. Dole Whip is nothing to write home about. I've tried it.
But these are not the 16 he's talking about.
What are those?
I'm getting there.
What are the ones you just said?
He starts off telling you the most popular ones, and then he tells you about these desserts you probably didn't know existed.
Oh, okay. So the most popular ones are the ones that are marketed more, so they sound like they're the most thing, and then the real ones that taste good are not marketed as much as the ones that they beat.
You would know more than me. I don't. That's what I'm saying. You need to write a book.
Okay, I can do that.
Just take a nice picture of the dessert.
One dessert was like a pretzel that looked like a Mickey Mouse ear. Mickey Mouse ears.
That might be on here.
It was a pretzel now. A pretzel.
Okay.
That is approximately 1 foot in square. Right. Approximately.
Right.
It was $6 and change. It went up to $7 even now.
Oh,
for
my.
a pretzel.
I bet it was good, though.
It's a pretzel. Come on.
All right, here we go. Let me start.
It's a pretzel. $7. Here you go.
There's no order to these. This one is found at the Norway Pavilion in Epcot. It is the Fresh Berry Cream Puff.
Ooh, that sounds good.
The Fresh Berry Cream Puff.
That sounds good. Any cream puff is good.
The page with it on it has a picture, and it has this much writing. Are you ready?
Yes.
Fresh Berry Cream Puff. You can get this sweet, light, and fluffy treat from Kringle Bakery Og Cafe in Epcot. Hello!
Wow, what a great idea this guy had. This is a good idea to follow up.
I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to go. Let's see. Let's see. Desserts have been done already, so what else could I do then? The worst dessert. What is that ringing here?
It's the telephone. Have you had one of them before?
There you go. See, we're having desserts and the phone's ringing. What did I tell you about that phone? Get in the phone. Take the phone. Put it away. You want the phone? Yes, please. Can I have the phone? No, you cannot have the phone. But I need the phone. No phone for you. But I need No, but I can't eat. Why? I got the phone in my hand and I want. No phone.
Is that Topo Gigio?
That's it. No phone. You eat. Phone. You don't eat.
All right. So I'm doing two things. I'm trying to talk about desserts and also get Joe to think about writing a book for Disney or just doing a pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
The next one is the double chocolate peanut butter cupcake. You can get it at the Hollywood Studios.
I'm sorry, that's
in
Galen.
the Starring Rolls Cafe.
There.
Have you been to the Starring Rolls Cafe?
I've been to all of them.
All right. Well,
all of them. I've been in and out. No, I didn't buy everything, but I've been in and out of all of them here.
Wow.
But
The French one. You ever go to Epcot, the French one? Oh, très bien. You walk in there, you gain 2 pounds. It's so good. You feel like you were in France.
Double chocolate. Peanut butter cup here. All right.
Go ahead.
The next one is in the French Pavilion.
See, I told you.
It is called the Napoleon.
Napoleon? That's why you only eat with one hand. The other one, you scratch your belly.
It is in the Les Halles Boulanger.
Les Halles de Boulanger.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's called the Napoleon.
It's called the Napoleon, and it is so good.
Have you had it?
No, I've seen it.
Okay.
I look at it, and then I see the price. I go, ha-ha!
He's got one hand in his vest.
I told you.
He's scratching himself.
That's right. He's scratching the wool underwear.
In the Germany Pavilion in Epcot.
What do you want? Sausage. No.
He's recommending this guy who wrote a book who sold 650,000 copies.
Yes.
Who probably were selling more for him by talking about it.
Yes.
Salted caramel-filled chocolate cookie.
Ooh. It's a cookie.
It's a cookie.
It literally tastes like a salted caramel brownie minus that brownie edge chewiness.
Oh, so it's fat then.
That's all he wrote.
Wow.
Doo-dah, doo-dah.
This guy fell into something.
I'm doing my idea.
What? What's your idea?
You're going to do your idea. It's the same idea. I'm going to do the exact same thing.
All right.
I'm going to go to Disney. I got a camera.
Now, are these pictures taken through the case, or is he pulling them off Disney's pictures?
Well, that would be a copyright infringement. You can't do that.
Oh, you can't do that.
He has to take them
He has to
himself.
go in towards the case and take pictures of everything.
Well, there's pictures. I don't know the answer to your question.
Or buy the product and then take
But I'm just recommending.
Like when I went to Magnolia Bakery over here.
But when you do
I
it,
took pictures.
You better take pictures.
Yeah.
I think, Joe, it would be a great thing for you to be a
And I'm
character.
not using my camera. I'm not using my camera on my phone. I'll bring my camera.
Right, and you should be
Like
a
Robin has
character.
a
You should
cannon.
be a character in your own book. You should have somebody else with you, getting a picture of you, like putting it in your mouth, like.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh my
that would
gosh.
sell. That would be great.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I love the idea. Who wants to go to Disney with me?
I'll go with you.
You got to pay your own way, though.
You will.
How much
We'll
you
pay
paid?
our own way.
I'll be.
You'll be the photographer.
No, then Robin's coming with me.
Oh, I don't blame you. All right. The next one is.
Not that you don't take good pictures, Larry, but I like to see my whole head, not just half of it.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because I always do that. I always.
I know that.
Yeah, every time.
Well, you know why? Because you're so tall.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I know you're so tall. You're over the.
I know, it's amazing. You look at my Facebook page, nobody has a head.
That's it. Nobody has a
I
head.
don't know what's going on with me.
I don't know, Larry. But you know, you get Robin in there nice because
That's Robin.
Well, you better.
Do it, yeah.
You know why? She says,
Yeah.
"Give me that picture." No, that's not good. Next. No, that's not good. Next.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lady
Exactly
that does
how it
that.
works.
Do it all the time.
I know a lady that does that. Take a picture. No. Well, take it over. But take it over.
Oh, that's not good.
To the left. 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 Oops. In the water, you'll go.
All right, the next one doesn't say where in Disney World you can buy it.
I'll tell you. Go
It's
ahead.
called the Paw Print Brownie.
Paw print.
The Paw Print Brownie. It looks like a paw print.
Paw print brownie.
Paw print. Looks like a paw print, yeah.
I would say Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, probably.
Somewhere.
Or maybe Animal Kingdom, because animals have.
That's true. Hey, Robin's
So
got me.
it's probably
Okay.
right there.
Robin's got me. Okay.
At Epcot, at the refreshment port, you can get the croissant donut.
Croissant.
Yes.
Croissant
The
donut.
croissant donut.
Oh. There he goes again with the croissant donut. With all that sprinkles.
Oh, here's one from Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom,
Yes.
you can get the caramel pecan bar.
Oh, nuts.
Hey,
It has nuts. I
you,
bet they're
you
good.
got to think about other people.
This is true.
You got to.
This is
If you're
true.
going to make a book,
You got to think what they like, not what you like.
somebody else is going
Just
to like
just
it.
like when you market, you never market what you like. You got to market what other people like. That's right.
By the way, okay, that's also available at Epcot's Germany. Okay.
Aha!
At
Thought it sounded familiar.
At the Disney Boardwalk Bakery.
Now, how do you get there? I've been looking at Disney how to park to get to the boardwalk.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the bakery to get something because all the parking. Oh, we're running out of time. No.
You got 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Oh, minute and 25 seconds. Okay, I got it. So it's got to go around. Okay, there.
Well, we went there. We parked at that hotel. It was easy.
They let you go right in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Walk right in there.
Well, I got to try that. Because now they got the gates.
Anyway, they have the peanut butter and banana candied bacon pie.
Oh, that
sounds good. That sounds good. It
Now
says,
you got a minute.
Or as they say, now it's a minute, yes. Now that's it. That sounds good. Yes. Oh, one more.
And then at the Gaston's Tavern in the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, I've eaten there. I've had the sub there.
The warm cinnamon roll. Well, we're talking desserts.
I've been there. Last time I went there, I had the sub.
Oh.
It was ham and Swiss cheese.
Oh, I love those. Ham
Yeah.
Swiss.
Yeah, it was all right.
And then there's the cinnamon churro milkshake.
Where?
Over at Min and Bill's Dockside Diner in Hollywood Studios.
That's where I'm going to go next, Hollywood Studios. I haven't been there in a while.
Nice.
All right,
I've been to Magic Kingdom twice already, and I've been to Epcot, so I'll go to Hollywood Studios.
A book idea for Joe.
I just might go tomorrow. That's it. I'm just going to go. I'll go tomorrow. I'll take the day off and go tomorrow. Not really. This is WOCA Ocala broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall. Hey, we love you guys. Thanks for listening. Don't you know?
Midday with Joe.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. Reports that 2 people are dead, several hurt in a shooting at a Walmart south of Memphis, Tennessee.